Hello, Wild Wisdom Warriors. Hello, YouTube. Hello, everyone who is joining me today for my journal. This is, of course, Lily Kolosova, and today is June 25th. So it's been 3 weeks since I made a journal, you guys. So thank you so much for all of you that coming back, and hopefully, I see some people here, so it's working. Zuzi, you saying hi to everybody. Zeus wanted to say hi. Hi, Susie. Hi, everybody saying hi to you. Okay, that's it. Everybody said hi. Okay, sees. All right, you guys. So I am back with this journal today. Okay. Zuzi, you want to go to bed? Stop. Okay. So hopefully he'll stop. If not, time out, puppies. All right. So this is, of course, Lily Kolosova, and today is June 25th, and this is my journal, you guys. So I'm going to be talking about psychic warfare, you guys, today, because it's been 3 weeks, and there is much that I've learned that I would like to share with you today, and this is why I really wanted to find this time to come back and do a journal, because there's so much, you guys, that I want to share with you, because I've been digging in deeply into what's truly happening. And I've called myself in the past a human consciousness investigator, and so this has been a tough 3 weeks for me. Okay, because I've been digging into some things. So, but there's so much incredible, bright things that I am back for that. So. Anyway, but I got my little friend here with me to keep me grounded, because the things I'm going to be talking about is the psychic warfare. Because right now it is absolutely, if you would say, when would we feel the most of this on our bodies, on our mind, on our psyche? Right now, everything is unleashed on us. And you can see this from the physical attack on humanity all the way. And you guys know, I don't separate our being. We belong to eternity. So whatever is here, my journey is to be the creator of my reality. And so this is what I'm sharing. I am basically journaling my own shamanic journey of how to attain this sort of spiritual wisdom, to where you can become one with it. And this is what ultimately the ancients talked about. This is the enlightenment process. And as many of you know, that so much of that has been twisted and turned inside out, and it become this dogma. But for me, it's all real. So that's why what I find in my own personal journeys that I do to find what's going on with the collective or the totality of human consciousness, and what it is that humanity is going to be experiencing on this level, what it is that together we're going to be experiencing. I am nosy like that. I would like to know. So it's been busy 3 weeks. But here I am. So hello, Teresa. Hello, Angela. Hello, Remus. Hello, Cindy. Hello, Sunshine. Hello, Deanne. Oh, thank you so much, each and every one of you, for coming back. So this is sort of in between the lessons that I talk about. The lesson number 1, back to future. And so right now I'm kind of went back to what it is that to how to move forward for myself, or where to dig in this last 3 weeks. What direction do we go from now? We're now stepping into this, and on top of that, like I talked last time, we had a celestial events that kind of created this sort of celestial explosion that created exposure of what I talked about, the cycle of solar eclipses, and how that when one happens, and then you can look back at that cycle, and like I talk in the prediction for the eclipse for America, that was on August 21st of 2017, and in that, hello Santa, and in that video, in my video, I was talking about the cycle of sort of eclipses, and how it works, and how it plays, sort of how celestial events like that play the role. Hi Og, great to see you here, Og. How celestial events play role in our collective sort of transformation and all of that stuff, because those are the markers for us. Okay, so when we feel this, like I say, it's explosion, but it's exposing everything. And so here's happened another eclipse, right, on the other side of the world, right? But for us, I wanted to kind of look back on America, because we're here, and so we are experiencing, and in that prediction, I talked about how we are going to experience sort of what truly divides America, because it's going to be for America, because it's going to start, and this explosion it is an explosive disclosure. Absolutely right, Therese. There is also a shitstorm going on. Oh Lord. But I'll get to it. I'll get to the shitstorm. Okay. And the psychic vampires out there that are trying to pull a trick, a disappearing trick. Right? Okay, you guys, I gotta get me something to drink. Okay, so just a little bit of lime and tonic water today. So anyway, but disclosure, explosion. Oh my Lord. But yeah, because of this energies exploding and all of that stuff, I wanted to take advantage of it to sort of go deep, right? Go deep into just nosy testing, testing, nosy testing, to see how we're sort of, how all of this is unfolding. And it's unfolding really beautifully, you guys. It's because when the truth is allowed to be what it is, everything else just sort of melts away. It's just so beautiful to see it happening, because this is ultimately what I am, why I feel like I need to share this with you. I don't need to share this with, let me get something to drink. I don't need to share this journey with anybody out there so I can get more followers, or I can get donations or things like that. This is not the reason why I'm sharing, is because when I feel like I am granted this responsibility, because when I see that I can see something and I can perceive something, and I know how something is happening, or I feel something on the collective level, and then I feel like it's been gifted to me by eternity, so then I could share it, because in here we have this vessel here in this reality to operate through. That's all we got. And I sent many people And many people will stand in that victim field and will say, I'm only, in human body here. And I'll get to that inversion of loyalty to non-human entities, right? Because this is what ultimately the whole psychic warfare is all about right now. So the reason why I said psychic warfare and warriors, because there is two different perspectives. And this is like what I say, this is a war, but it's non-physical. Okay. And it's not even psychological anymore when you truly stand in your eternity, or you stand, like I talk about, on the 3 pillars of wellness.
Laser cycle from the front. Gotta cut these, put them in water. I'll put it in water now.
I am live.
I know.
Okay. Bye. Okay. So back to it, because I don't want to lose that thought. So what happens is this, like I said in that eclipse prediction, we're going to gain clarity to see what truly divides us on this level, on the spiritual level, on the psychic level. And then in the last, couple of months before this, I've talked about the possession, and I really try to explain from this perspective, from a wild warrior perspective, those that are empowered themselves. Because what is happening right now, and that division, and what truly divides humanity, we can see that there is, and like I put at Sun Tzu quote in there is, a defeated warriors first go to undefeated warriors win first, then go to war, and then defeated warriors first goes to war and then attempts to win, right? Something like that. So anyway, the reason I put in there, because you can see now in this cycle now, I can see clearly that what is happening is human collective is transforming and transmuting this sort of this part, and we're entering the understanding of what it is, what's this psychic warfare that humanity has been under. Who are they? And you guys, I've talked about this people, and I've talked about agents and operatives and all of that stuff. And yeah, a lot of it has to do with intelligent agencies and all of that, but when you truly, and I said, and the reason why I say I'm not interested in how many, in the numbers here, because this is for those of you that know that when and you go back, what I talked about in my original opening Wild Wisdom Warriors series. I talked about what's going to happen to that fake awakening, or those fake it until you make it crowd, or the illusionary timeline. And later in 2016, I talk about what's going to happen with the transhuman timeline and how it is going to go space dust. And in there, I give sort of a 4-stage sort of overview of things that will be happening. And right there in that thing, I said that there is going to be all this stuff that's happening on this stuff. But those people that are capable of themselves stand on these 3 pillars of wellness. And the reason I said, and so this is now, are those that this is the true elite. It's those that operate on that level. And this is what drives humanity. This is what drives collective consciousness. But exactly, Teresa. But intelligence agencies are just inverted. They're just club idiots assembly. That's what it is. And so, but I want to get to it and talk about the club idiots infestation of truth movement. And now you can also see why truth movement is so infested with this psychic vampirism. And basically 99% of it is that techniques for vampires to feed. That's basically what truth movement's all about. 99% of it is this psychic war is run through it. So yeah, Santo. Funny he mentioned that. Aloha, Teresa. Aloha. Thank you guys for being here. It's just so anyway, so what is happening? And when I was talking about in that originally, and I said the time will come where that, see, whatever was working and what this so-called elite did, but I said they're not elite, because they're actually pretending to be, but it's very this. So see, this is the thing. It does come to intelligence, and they ain't got no intelligence. They got that third strand technological DNA, and they think they're intelligent. Oh, you're so special. Oh, I'm gonna send to Mars. We're so special. So that's a whole different type of intelligence. That's the intelligence that of a predator. And so here I've talked about this is a predatory consciousness. It's vampiric, and so this vampirism or this warfare. And the reason I said, and even though it feels like there is still this big battle, but the reason I say there's so much good news, you guys, it's just there's so much beauty. There is so much joy that I feel coming to at the totality. I felt so much joy, you guys. I can't express it. How incredibly beautiful it is when you truly reach for that joy within yourself. You reach so much higher because you reach to that eternal river, or those eternal waters, deep waters, as I used to call it. And this is what the shaman journey is all about, to ride that water, ride that river of that energy. And so this is why I say it aligns, and this is why I chose to kind of discontinue from external world for a little bit and go in and do a lot of that, because for me, and then to come back, and now I can share a much deeper perspective on how do we unmask this collective abuse that's happening due to this infection. Because I've talked about what's happening and all of that stuff, and there's so much of that abuse that's been paraded out there. There's so much of this sickness that this our special intelligence agency created. They have special clinics, suicide clinics in Costa Rica, right? Training camps, abuse camps. Okay. And so basically what had happened is truth movement and alternative media and spiritual community is partnered up with who, and this is who had been waging this war in America. So I'm going to look at America again. I might, and so I've been really, because this is the home for me. So it's whatever's closest, this is where I look. So I'm looking at, you know, because see how it's just, I mean, the tricksters, they've used religion, right? Because it is a religion, because it is the satanic network is a religion, religious organization. You can say that because that's the mask they've been hiding under. And so, but they have an army that is what you would call the intelligence agencies. And so now when I talk about some of those agencies, like Goyim TV is actually being one of those agencies. They are not a media company. And so for those of you that recently seen some shifting going on right there, and some people playing disappearing act and all of that stuff, I want to talk about the reasons why that is happening. Because this is what's coming to the surface. And this is what I said. Those that only can see what there are, so those that I say that cannot have no ability to step out of that slave mentality into become a warrior. They don't know what warrior is. So they stand on that platform to where they operate through those belief systems, right? And so this is why Club Idiots Assembly use communities like UFO community, like Truth Movement, like spiritual community, like Ascension community, and all of that stuff. All of those that you've seen up there in our alternative media, all of those people that have like big channels and things like that in the past, that come out of this, workshops, or then all of a sudden, they're all grouped together, groups and all of that stuff. All of these are the people that run this psychic warfare in America. And these are the agents, and these are the agencies that employ people that openly could, and legally, like I've explained before, could run all this, because loopholes, religious loopholes that they found to avoid the Constitution, because the Constitution in America grants every soul, this is the key thing, it's not about the body, it grants the soul the freedom to its life. So what is happening right now is people that have submitted into that transhuman agenda, right? Look how inverted most of humanity truly are today through their belief systems. What had happened? Remember how I talk about pharma, how big role they play, right? All Masonic Brotherhood. Yep. Out and about. Bloodsuckers. Out and about. Absolutely, Teresa. Anyway, so what are they doing? What's percentage of the people in America, I'm observing this, going out there too, investigating? What percentage of the people have put their mask on? Or put their muzzle on? And it was what? 2014, when I said 85% of the people are completely operated by this, whatever this is. Matrix call it, they have no individual anything. They just groupthink, and that's all they do. And so when you look at it and when you see what's happening, and like I said, then it's truly, it gives you the spine to see truth. And this is what truth movement's all about. You have to stand on your own truth. If you don't have the holy trinity of your wellness to stand on, you're a mosquito. Like Teresa said, you're a mosquito. You're just sucking the life out of other people. So what happened is, this under the truth movement and under the media, as you all know, mainstream media is Club Idiot's assembly operation. I don't think that's a big secret anymore. And for those of you that still think that it's not, yeah, you're one of those 85%. So it's just, it is what it is. So what they did, oh my God, what they did, you guys. So what they did is that truth movement is it's a toxic wasteland. It's just, there's nothing but freaking psychic vampirism going on. And because they were protected under this religious loopholes, right? They were able to do all this stuff. But so now when you take that away, what happens is then all of those big puff abusers out there choose to run. Why? Because that closet door is going to swing wide open. This is what there is no avoiding it. That closet door is going to swing open. And for agencies that are involved in this, and the media companies that are involved in this, and this is, you guys know, my cup of tea is media companies. They're all connected to this network. And this is ultimately, just like you will see it with you go outside and see what percentage of the people is wearing masks right now, who suffocating themselves today. Who's suffocating themselves today? And especially in America. I understand we're in China. They will kill you for it. But in America, where the freedoms have been fought, and the rivers of blood, of Native Americans' blood, this land been soaked in. And what had happened to 85% of the people in America? They're wearing muzzles. They're suffocating themselves. I went to the store the other day. They refuse to sell me food because I wasn't wearing a mask. And the lady that refused my food buying activity said, "You're not coming into the store." I got it on video. I took closer look. I was very up close to her face when she was kicking me out of the store. I looked at the mask, you guys. She's probably been wearing it for a good few months now. That's one and the same mask. I got really close to her. That mask stinked so bad. It was disgusting. People suffocating themselves. They're going to get infections from breathing through that thing. Imagine all of that crap. Because that mask was black on top. It was gray from all the dirt. But she kicked me out of the store. And they can't breathe. Oh, God, breathe. Hello. And this is what, but Teresa, what happened? What did America said? What did they want to do with the Paris Accord? They want to tax and what get taxes for the air that we breathe. So what did they do? What did the psychic vampire and what are all those operatives? And this is the operatives that were over there, out there talking. And this is what I said. Any one of those scumbags that said, "Oh, I know what to do. I'm a healer. I'm a healer. I'm going to heal you from coronavirus." They're all scumbags playing along. Okay? Because they've created that. They've punished America and the world for not paying taxes for the air we breathe. And they mock us. And then those in alternative media, the mockingbirds, they go over there, "Oh, the coronavirus is this, and then I'm going to report the coronavirus. And then, oh, and I'm going to report on the violence that is being done by the same group." So all those alternative media scumbags have been protecting blood market. All of them. And now this is what's coming, you guys. There is no need sort of in the future. This is why I'm so excited, because there's no need anymore like to try to do like what I attempted to do like with like Wild Wisdom Warrior series, where I talk about, you know, what's going to be happening right now and like years in advance, like trying to find words for what. But going into the future, it's just it's so clear that everything, all we had to do is our own selves to somehow align to this river of life or eternity that is just, and this is that eternal intelligence. This is when the Gnostics talk about, this is the gnosis that then you align yourself with. And there is nothing that can knock you out. It's like, it's impossible. It's like the flea, you know, it cannot you know, overcome a dog. It can suck on, you know, on its blood for a long time, but then parasite is parasite. And so all of this, and especially you guys, especially Goyim TV and the technology they used, and all the little tiny skeletons that are in that closet, the little dead tiny skeletons, including Jean Benet Ramsey, is all part of one and the same network. There is one and only one enemy in a spiritual world. There is no other enemy. And so this is all going to unveil and unravel. Now it's going to, in America, I think it's pretty visible right now what truly is happening. I don't think there is any more secret. Because, you know, some of the people choosing to leave alternative media and truth movement, some people are playing dead. Starting to play dead. And when was it? It was last year in June, about a year ago, when I wrote that little movie, and the third act was Suicide Squad. I'll tell you what, because all of those operatives, all of them are programmed with suicide. And the technology that they use is a very old, long Gosh, Russians tested it on in Siberia long ago. That's what that technology, the mind control technology. I mean, come on. And so, all of those things that David Wilcock did, the Corey Goody did with all of their things that test that. Remember that they were testing the mind control technology, and those were the small print for those that were going to those meetings in the desert. All of those people are operatives. They're all blood market operatives. Okay. So they're going to be ratting on each other, those that are still trying to stay afloat. But many of them are still deeply sort of entrenched there, and those are that I've talked about. Those are the pharma pimps and all of those that protect the abuse, the other abuse. Okay, because and that has to do with what kind of tests they've done on American soldiers, the kind of suicides that they tested on them. Santo, Michael Kavanagh. Didn't he just play dead? He tried to. So what's happening there? Why Santo? Think about it. Why drama? And why now? What's happening? What's happening? Because they're all connected to Go MTV. Don't think of this, that they will always play, enemies, because that's how this is the psychic warfare. That they always play the opposite, because you know how they do it, right? So see, the control then comes out as slavery. It comes out as slavery, as willingly people are just because they've been programmed before and been prepped for this. And so all these people, like I said, like David Icke and all of them, they just submit people into this authority. They've submitted for years and years and years. And so now, so when it becomes declassified, all of the UFO stuff, what the reason why, and so when the UFO communities and those operatives that out there are going, government is not disclosing UFO exists. Government's not disclosing. You know why? You know why government's not disclosing? Because it's a bunch of pedos. It's a bunch of pedos, and so they're screaming like, government's just, there is UFOs exist and all of that stuff, but it's all one and the same network. It's all in the same one and the same network, and they're playing them like fiddle, these people. And then they scream, but all of this is to protect those activities. And many of them, including big religious leaders, you guys, like pastors that have thousands and thousands of people going to their church, they're involved in this psychic warfare on Americans. It's all been recorded. It's all going to be revealed. They are involved in this warfare. This warfare, oh my God. It is so complicated, but when you truly gain that perspective, sort of, always look at everything from a perspective of a shaman. And when you know that you're a shaman, and you know why you know you're a shaman? Because you yourself stand on that platform of wellness, and you operate on that eternity. You are the eternal being. And to the degree that you know that, and to the degree you accept that, this is the degree of your awakening. So you totally own your own sort of this metamorphosis, because it changes the way you see everything. You will never look in the world from a disempowered point of view, because the eternity, when it runs through you and you align your conscious mind to that, this is the river of joy. This is the river of creation, and only you can go deep. You can dive deep into it as far as you can count on yourself, because now you power. You're the mystery. You're the power. You are at the center stage. Absolutely, Teresa. Center stage. What a stage are we now? Okay, Teresa, you ask us, what stage are we now? Okay, so we kind of right now see what's happening, and like I said, it's going to first happen in America, to where, see, this spiritual warfare, it has to be stopped. This is the invisible enemy, you guys. Okay. That you might have heard about. Okay, so what's happening, and with all of this stuff, everything, then, because if you guys remember that 2016 prediction for the correction timeline, I said that the karma stage, it was towards their 2021, and I talked about the karma stage. And so this is the what you call Teresa. So if you kind of was asking about what kind of stage are we there, so this is the karma stage that I talk about then. And so now many people are talking about the justice and all of that stuff. And so all these people, they can't run and they can't hide. And this is what's happening right now, because see, that not that many will not attempt to hide or run. And like I said, and I don't know what happened with Michael Kavanaugh. I haven't looked into it, if that truly the case, or is that just a game, one of the games that they're so desperate now that they don't know what to do, because they're trying to protect that closet door from opening. Do you understand, you guys, why it's like so much of that? Because imagine how many little skeletons will walk out. It's just uncountable numbers. And like, for those that are involved through the pharma side, and this is why I mentioned Joe Rogan and call him a pharma pimp, because pharma pimps are pharma pimping. How are they going to go? How intelligent is Joe Rogan when he openly goes and pimps pills that are $1,000 a piece and actually do a lot of harm? What pimp's going to say? Hey, Joe. Hey, Joe, what are you going to say? Oh, I didn't know I was pimping. I didn't know. What? Or what they going to say? It's like they count on people to be stupid enough to wear a mask for 2 months. So imagine the kind of microbes she's breathing through. Oh, imagine that. So those are they count, right? The only way it works if people are in that state consciously, where they've submitted that much to be that much of a slave. Is that somebody who's standing in their freedom? Is that somebody who's standing in their eternity? No. It's, of course, it's obvious. And so, but then it gets deeper, because it gets, and this is why I talked about the narcissistic abuse, because there's so much language to explain, sort of see for conscious mind, because you got a conscious mind to align to all this, so you can see the kind of damage this does to human consciousness. And so this is why I say it's an incredible crime. to do what's been done and is still being done. And there is those people that will, for their paycheck, will wage this psychic war. Og was here. I think he's gone now. I don't know. Maybe he's still here, but he've experienced all of that attempts on how they use that technology to and then they send their agents to create the environments for suicide, and all of that toxicity that they bring, because it's like that there's always, and that toxicity is what, like, in the group thing, they have to come in groups, and they create this toxic environment. It's almost like they surround, like a bunch of vampires, they surround you with that toxicity to where you have no way out, and then you just shrink into nothing. And so they hope that, because you can never, because see, like I said, and this is recently, I see some of that, and like I talked about in my graph, that there's going to be a lot of new sort of renewed and I'll dress that reptilian bullshit in some kind of new dress and put it out there. So there's quite a few people out there in alternative media that, ooh, they have something new to show. Oh, it's just same shit, old shit, just different day, or it's dressed in something different. But anyway, so they do a lot of that. And so they send all those people like, oh, there's something new, there's something different, there is, but all it is, what they want to do is they want to surround an individual sort of, so they're completely alone, and everyone else that surrounds them is of that toxic energy. And they project their toxicity on that individual from each side, and that individual just can't do anything but to shrink within themselves. Okay, unless, like I said, unless you have the willpower to write that eternity and grab onto the eternity and go at it, and yeah, Og is healing, and he is having some amazing experiences, I'm sure, because his journey is his journey, and it's an amazing journey of healing. And so, good job, Og. So proud of you. This people out there that it is sad, because most of these people that operate in this and that create this toxicity, and this is what I said, I knew that alternative media was a toxic wasteland. I knew it in 2014. I knew it. So, but this is the thing. You can't, but just to investigate them. Because the atrocious crimes that are committed, and the children, and the things that these so-called religious leaders, spiritual gurus, and all of that, John of God. What kind of operation was it? Oprah, John of God. Who else connected to that? Some people in alternative media connected to that too. Hoo-hoo. What was it? A satanic network, a non-human, disgusting operation. This is where they make those. This is similar things are happening in Costa Rica. So all of those that came out of Costa Rica, I am not investigating those people that have been abused and paraded out there in alternative media, these truth speakers, you know, like Teal Swan and all of that. Those are bitches, pharma bitches. They're just out there to spread pills or directly sell C60 to people, nanotech, openly selling nanotech pills. And they say they're truth speakers, right? They're all, see, it's not about them. To free the slaves, you got to eliminate the master slaves. This is what it's all about. So those that are being abused, and even some of those speakers, you guys, even when I talk about, and I told you, I give you an example of Laura Eisenhower. She is sick. That's a mentally ill individual due to so much abuse. And they parade their abused out there. And so this is the same thing. So I'm not, those are people, I'm not feeling, this is the thing, they're abused. But to understand this slave mentality that people have, there is no better time than to see it today, how real it is. Go outside, and for every one of those divine idiots out there that still show their loyalty to a non-human energy or entities or any of it. They're all out there showing their loyalty to non-human entities. Did the Pleiadians told you about 30,000 children a month? Did the Pleiadians or your Anunnaki, Aset? Where's your Anunnaki? What happened to Aset and her Anunnaki? I think she gets scared. Anunnaki didn't show up. Fuck her too. Yeah, because they all give you this, oh, I'm a gypsy goddess. I'm a gypsy goddess. No, I'm a narcissist, but I'm going to call myself a gypsy goddess. I'm making fun of them, but these people are really sick. They really believe that. So imagine how non-human. Imagine someone who believes that just because she was incarnated, maybe it's true, 6,000 years ago as Egyptian individual, what's supposed to happen now? She doesn't know. We're going to ascend to Mars? Maybe not. We'll see. Maybe Anunnaki will come and get us. But see, that's just slave mentality on the display. So it's not really them but there is masters. What I'm talking about, and when I'm talking about unmasking these demonic entities, are in those masters. And so and this is why I make these videos, because it's for shamans, because a shaman knows immediately, a true shaman knows who's a master slave, because a master slave will be possessed. Okay? And shamans will know. So this is now, if you were talking about the stage, so now all of the black magicians are standing naked. All you shamans need to do is just to look around, and then ta-da, unmask them. And once you unmask the master slaves, right, what happens to the slaves? What happened to the slaves? Their whole structure, the whole belief system crumbles. And so, and that's basically how, because I've talked about, because ultimately, you guys, my purpose for my shamanic journeys and on to find out what's going on and what's gonna be sort of, is to sort of find words and find things that we can sort of see, so we have the signs and we can follow and be sort of strong and stay wild in our own sort of state of being. But we can see now the progression of this sort of what it is, because many of you are here, and the many of you here, I think listening to me, is that you want to know is what direction it is that you apply your shamanic journey, how and where. Because the reason you're listening to me is because you want to find for yourself how it is and where it is better for you, and maybe, or where it is going to be most beneficial for totality of human consciousness for you to apply your gifts. And this is why you ultimately are here. And so this is ultimately what I look for, is what is it that I can say here that then we can sort of all have in common, or can understand what it is that we truly ultimately striving for. And what I found out, you guys, with doing a lot of research and doing and having clients and working with clients and doing hypnotherapy and developing this sort of a way to allowing your higher self in hypnosis session to sort of to go beyond just past lives and things like that, and to because a lot of my clients have come to me always with to find what it is, that ultimate mission, why am I incarnated here, what it is. And what I found doing this work and doing the shamanic journey and having the experiences that I had in my life, is that every shaman that has a gift of a shaman has been involved in one form or another. Somehow, each and every one of us been one of those children that been sacrificed. And for some reason, and this is something that I kept sort of, I didn't keep it secret, but I never really talked about, is that the ultimate mission, and those truly that once those clients of mine, when they see that, and when they find out that they were at one point been this, or somehow there is this sort of blood ritual that was involved in the blood contract and things like that, that had happened on the bloodline or the ancestors and things like that. So what happens with that ultimately you didn't know, my clients never knew about it, about that lifetime or about being involved in that in the past, until each and every one of them wanted to truly know what is the ultimate mission for me to be here in this lifetime. And so it turns out it is that we are here to stop that. And so there is no other timeline. That's what I sort of want to stress out. There's no other timeline allowed into the future. And this is why each and every one of you are here, is to make sure that that timeline never, ever happens again. Because each and every one of you somehow are connected to that mission. And so when you've been that, and then in this life you've experienced all sorts of abuse, And now, standing empowered as a warrior, you will never back down. And so that's why I said, what I'm finding out also, and this is why I said, the war is over and we won. Because there is no other timeline. It's nowhere to be found. So they can scream, they can yell, they can do whatever the hell they want to do. No more blood. So sorry, all you blood market operatives, you ain't going to be getting your paychecks. Burisma's going to be closed. Ukraine gate is open wide. And imagine how many little skeletons are going to walk out of that gate in Ukraine. And some of those people in alternative media that attempted to protect that market. Do you think there is no good reason why Randy Morgans ran from his own platform? There is a good reason. So it's over for them. It's over. So there's going to be a lot of that on a collective level. Lizards and please. You know, Candace, and you can see this slaves, because the master slaves and slaves of this that submitted to this authority, they are out there in alternative media and spiritual communities. They will speak. The demons will speak through them. They'll immediately, I had this lady talking about Pleiadians. This lady is saying, oh, what you mean? I commented on this lady that we're talking about being a slave to Queen and how she's now knows where humanity goes and everything. So it's very funny to me when these slaves are talking about about the freedom of humanity, how they are helping humanity to achieve freedom. But how we achieve freedom? Oh, let me tell you, what's the biggest authority? What's the spiritual authority? Oh, it's reptilians, like David Icke. Oh, reptilians are very powerful. Very powerful. So they're just submitted to authority. And then I said, okay, there's no authority over me. So this lady, but I am a Pleiadian, Lily. I'm like, okay, you submitted to a Pleiadian bullshit. You have a Pleiadian. I'm a Pleiadian. So what would make an individual identify with that belief system that Simon Parks, most likely, he loved to tell people that they're Pleiadians. Oh. Or they're cats, or they're something or something. And so they buy into that belief and they identify with it. And like I said, slave does not comprehend freedom. Slave does not comprehend eternity as a pillar. It's Pleiadians that are higher than me. I don't know what you're talking about, Lily. I don't know what you're talking about. What do you mean, you eternal being? I'm Pleiadian. They're good. They're good Pleiadians. They're helping humanity. They're helping. Pleiadians, they're helping to suicide 140,000 American soldiers since 2001. That's what Pleiadians been doing with the help of pharma bitches like Teal Swan. That's what they've been doing. They've been suiciding soldiers. They've been suiciding truth speakers. They've been suiciding those that survived the abuse and live to talk about it. That's what they were doing. Those are the same people that are wearing the mask. Those are the same people in alternative media and on YouTube. They talk about the agent or how we're going to stand or how all of this stuff, all belief systems. They just bought into it. And eventually that belief system will lead to suicide. That's the sick part about it. That's the sick part about it. That they program with suicide because they do all kinds of things. But all of that is going to be, they're going to be still doing it because that's what's going on. And what happened is just like in Soviet Union, you guys, by the time I was born, 1970, right? By the time I was born, and so here, I would say I didn't probably see much of a like really true world until I was about 10. When I started to understand this spirit, right? Oppressive spirit, and how by that time there was no need for for the control. There was no need even for police state in Soviet Union. Neighbors kept an eye on neighbors. Neighbors ratted neighbors out. It was just people did it to themselves. People did it to themselves. They became that what took over in 1917. They became that. The people themselves became that. They were the ones who were upholding all of those abusive structures. It was the people. It was the police people. It was my neighbors. It was, police was your neighbor. You're all of that. I lived in a very small town. Everybody knew everybody. Yet the control system ran itself by then. And so in this situation here with this warfare, it's done the same way. It is spiritual in nature. And this is why I say, right, Jose, you said it's almost like they think humanity is not capable of being powerful, to say the least. And this is why this is the number one thing that they do to program individual. And like I said, with religion is they say you're a sinner, right? So they take the power away to submit under authority, because this is a draconian system. So it has to be authority. And so when they submit, and this is when the people in religious structure, they believe in God, they're just, we believe in God. But, the fact is that it's like abusive and it's very, very evil. They can't, because they believe things, they've submitted. And once people submit it, same structure goes, they play the same absolute thing in spiritual community. It absolutely the same way. And when you look at it, right, and they display this thing, they talk, and like I said in my Wild Wisdom Warriors series one time, a couple of years ago, I said they're going to be revealing themselves. Because when you truly know and you stand in truth and you stand in eternity, you'll see. It's just so clear, because they're going to be talking those programs. They're going to be those belief systems that they're believed. They're only going to be convincing you of their belief system and nothing else, because a slave doesn't know how to be free. Okay, and this is the sad part. And so it's nothing sort of personal, but if we don't understand this, and some people say, Lily, you're so mean to these people, and then you say, and it's truly is, they need help because they're mentally unstable, they're being abused, all of this stuff, and some of them will horrifically been abused and been programmed and all of that stuff. But see, this cognitive dissonance or whatever with the abused and abuser, whatever happens, that thing, you guys, it's so difficult to break, but somebody has to do it. And I guess that's, is one of the things. I can't sit here and watch this to go on and not say anything about it, because to me that's betraying humanity. So do I get upset that some of these slaves get, a little upset, and, they might create some sort of thing. They've trying to get rid of my YouTube channel. So they're constantly, those people that I called out, I guess maybe, I don't know, maybe pharma pimps or pharma bitches, they don't like, Susanna's been very bad. So they're trying to sort of, shut me up. The Pleiadians are trying to shut me up. I was going to say, finish about the soldiers and the suicide. So this psychic warfare is ultimately, the ultimate goal is to suicide people, to basically have them in their own life. If they're not willing to submit under this transhuman agenda. Okay, so if you're like, so this is basically what's going on, you guys. But I think so anyway, yeah, all of those titles, Jose, all of those star seeds, Pleiadians, and all of that, it's just demons talking. They just want to be important, How come you demons, those Pleiadians never told you that 140,000 American soldiers have been experimented on by pharma, and then have been waged a psychic war on for all these years? And how come Pleiadians never told us about it? How come? That's today. That's 22 soldiers a day. That's almost one each hour today. It's committing suicide in America. Who's talking about them? Do their lives matter to anybody? Anybody in America? Hello, Americans? Every hour. There's a warfare going on. And every 1 hour, there's death due to that warfare, due to that psychic warfare. Every hour, there's an American dying. Their lives don't matter. So, this is who divides America. So you know who's doing what. And so they're going to scream and yell and all of that stuff. But yeah, Santa should be published alongside the Kung Fu, Chinese flu. Kung Fu fighting. So anyway, but you know what pharma pimps will do? Pharma pimps will not allow that, because that would implicate that pharma pimps are involved. And how much money do they get from this warfare? So anyway, you guys, a lot going to be unfolding. Ukraine gate's going to explode. So hello, Bidens. Okay, you guys. Oh my God, 1 hour and 15 minutes. Toxic soup. Try to remain neutral. You guys, Santo, that's a great idea to to calling it a toxic soup. Stay neutral. Be yourself. Don't submit. These people they're so submitted. So everything they say is projected from their slave point of their standing as a slave. So they're trying to submit you because it's a parasite. It's like a cancer. So cancer only wants more of itself. So it's very narcissistic. So try to stay out of that soup, jump out of it. If you're still alive, Santo, try not to surround yourself, because a lot of times what happens is there is could be a family member, or a lot of the time that twin flame is actually a handler and, handling somebody. So they always have that, and they like it to call it all this twin flame pairing and stuff like that. So, but a lot of those twin flames, they're a handler situation. So, if you think that you're still with the handler, handle it like you would handle it with a narcissist. Get the fuck away if you can, and as soon as you can. Because see, that toxicity, they'll drown you in that toxicity. They'll drown you. And it's just so difficult. It's like swimming against a strong current. It's so difficult. So, but so that's why, and the thing is, inner joy. You're always on the journey of following your inner joy. And if you keep your one foot in front of another, always knowing that you belong to eternity and you follow your joy, and that's your life, and that's your right, and that's your soul choice to unfold it the way that it unfolds. So trust your steps that you take. And so you all belong to eternity, and let's just keep walking together, you guys. There's a lot more journeying that we need to do. It's going to be difficult for a lot of people, but it also is very empowering to those of you that you're here to witness this time. You're here to witness the justice. You're here to witness the truth. So you're all witnessing what's happening here. And so thank you all so much, Wild Wisdom Warriors, for being here. Thank you so much for all of you there in ether all this past 3 weeks. You guys, I love you. I felt you. You were so powerful. You all, thank you so much. I mean, it's just beautiful. We're ushering in a new life, a new way of life on this planet. Believe it or not, a new way of life. There has been this abuse for ages here, and we're going to stop it. And so, and it's already done. So I thank you all so much. I love you all so much, my beautiful warriors. Until next time, stay wild all. Bye, everybody.